and welcome to MarikaCreations. Today I will share with you some spring inspired DIYs. And it seems far away spring. I'm sitting here with double sweaters and I'm freezing still, but soon spring will arrive and I'm ready for it. So I have a display for spring and I've done everything on it, including the tray it's sitting on. So stay tuned for this. For my first DIY, I will start to make the tray, and I will use this wood board. It has had hooks on it like that. I will use the hooks for my spa that we are doing at the moment, and this tray will sit there at the end as well. And I will put these square wood strips on the back like that, a little closer together, because it will be a Japanese inspired tray. So it will sit like that, and then I will have two handles like that and two more wood strips, one on each side like that. So let's get started. So I'm removing any hardware still left on this wood board, just the hooks it was hanging on. And once I'm done with that, I take my wood filler and fill in any holes that I have from the hooks and whatever imperfections I can find on my wood board. And then I just set it aside to dry for a bit. And while the spackle is drying, I will focus on the wood strips because I need them the same size, the same length. So I just put them close together and then I mark where I need to cut them. I just take my miter saw and cut them to size, and now I am sanding them off to make them nice and smooth. And now I'm marking where to drill my pilot holes. And I'm using a very thin drill bit. This video is part of the Spring Forward challenge hosted by Shantell at Crafty Hints and her co-hosts Brenda at Rustic and Lace DIY and Amanda at 6 Kids and a Glue Gun. I will leave links to their channels down in my description box, so go and check them out later. I will also leave a link to the playlist of this challenge for more spring inspiration. My spackle has dried, so I'm sanding off any unevenness back and front of my wood board. And then it is time to put on my wood strips, and I start with the back, just measure so I have them evenly spaced. Put on some wood glue, put them in place, and then attach them with some screws. Like that, wipe off the excess glue and continue with the other board. Then I just turn it on the other side and place out the other two wood strips. I make sure that the screws are sunken in a little bit because I will put spackle on top of them so they won't show. And once I'm done with this part, I will go and paint my piece back and front with my black satin color, and I applied 2 coats. Here is where I go a little Japanese on my tray, but you can totally use any color of your liking, of course. So back and front, set it aside to dry. And then I will do some decoupaging on the top. I found a perfect napkin with cranes and cherry blossoms on them on a black background. So I thought that was perfect for this setting here. So I just trace out what I want to tear out and use for my tray. And I put on some Mod Podge and place it, and more Mod Podge on top to get it somewhat, not wrinkle free. I never get it wrinkle free. But anyways, it will look worn and torn, this piece. And I noticed once it dried, you could see less and less of the images, but you could still see what it was. So I thought it looked so vintage, looked like it had been there forever. And now everything has dried, and I'm putting on a coat of satin finished varnish to protect my napkins and the color of the tray. Last thing I will do is to put on the handles, one on each side like that, and you will see the final reveal, how I styled it, at the end of this video, because everything else I'm DIYing is put on this tray. For my second DIY, I will make a simple vase with spring flowers in it, and I will use this glass one. I will just put a piece of burlap on the neck of the vase, and then I will also use a braided black ribbon. You will see how I put it on. So I just attach it with some hot glue like that, and then my braided ribbon here. I put it on the rim on the top, and then I just swirl it down to the bottom of my vase. And I decided to put this ribbon onto the whole of the upper rim and on the bottom as well, because I thought it looked prettier. But before I did that, I decided to put in some reindeer moss inside the vase like that. If you're new to my channel, hi! I am Marika, and on this channel I do lots of DIYs, thrift flips, trash to treasure, decorating, renovation of my home, some pottery, some painting, anything creative really. Please join me, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and join my YouTube family. And then just put the spring picks in place, and I decided to put in some witch hazel as well, as you will see in the reveal. For my third DIY, I will make some Easter bunnies, some spring bunnies, and I will use this toilet paper roll to do that. So I just cut slits on the top, so I will narrow the neck like that and just hot glue the pieces together. And once I'm done, I will put on some hot glue on the rim of my toilet paper roll like that, and then put on a Christmas ornament. Here they are, and it needs to be plastic, because now I'm making the ears just with some metal wire. Just bend them like you see me do here, and once I have 4 ears, 2 for each, then I will go on and make holes in the Christmas ornaments. So I take just a piece of wire and some fire to do that. Just hold it with my pliers so I will not burn myself, and once it's a bit hot, then I just press it through the plastic and create a hole. So 2 for each bunny ear. then I will insert the ears like that in the holes. And once I'm happy with the placement, I will secure them with some hot glue, because that will not show at the end anyways. And I will put on a wooden bead as the little cute tail. Now I will cover them with aluminum foil. As you see, I've done one already. Now we make the other one together. Just take a sheet of foil and just start wrapping, no rhyme or reason, just cover it completely. And once I'm done here with the tin foil, I will cover the whole piece with air dry clay. So I need a surface that I can work with, and I'll cover the bottom as well, so I can put clay on the bottom of my bunny. So it is complete, all covered with the tin foil. And I just put on some hot glue where I needed to. Now for the air dry clay. Just take a small piece and just work in it, weeding it in my hands to make it soft and warm, and then I take some parchment paper and roll it out in between for it not to stick. And I make it super thin. And this piece here was enough to cover the whole bunny. Started with the bottom and just pinch it together where I need to. I was a bit surprised. This was the first time I worked with air dry clay. I normally work with just ordinary clay that you put in a kiln and fire. So this was new to me, and what I noticed is that it was not as easy as the ordinary clay to smooth out, to blend sort of. So make sure to have not too many pieces, because it's a lot of smoothing, and I take a tool for that as well, and my fingers, and I did go over it with some water as well to get it nice and smooth. It will look handmade. So once I'm done with both my rabbits, my bunnies, I will set them aside to dry overnight. Here they are, looking super cute, I think. All dry. I had a little bit of cracking around the neck and around the ears, but not too much. So I start out by sanding any very uneven parts, and then I filled in the tiny cracks with some wood filler. And now it's time to paint them, and I start out with a base coat of a grey color. I just mixed in some black with my white acrylic paint, and this is what I got. So I set them aside to dry for a little bit, and then I will go in with different shades of grey, sponging all over my rabbit, and I have some gold as well, and I will just mix them as I please and continue until I'm happy with the result. So it looked like cement, if you will, or stone. Give it some more dimension. And once I'm happy, I set them aside to dry, and the last thing I do is to cover them completely with one coat of my satin finished varnish, and they are done. Well, almost done. I did put some tiny pads on the bottom of the bunnies as well. For my fourth DIY, I have some wooden coasters that I bought from my local cheap store for between €1 and €2. I have 4 of them, and I will use the same kind of a napkin that I used for the tray, this one here with cranes and cherry blossoms on it. So I took off the layers that I don't need, just to have the top layer, and then I put a Mod Podge on the top of my coasters and placed them where I wanted to have a nice image, and just put some Mod Podge on top and set them aside to dry, and I do that on all of my coasters. Once dried completely, I take my sanding block and sand off the excess napkin just with downward motion so I don't rip off anything I want to stay in place. They look beautiful, don't they? And here as well you can take another inspired spring theme, whatever you fancy, and I go for the Japanese inspired here as well. The last thing I do here is to put on my satin finish varnish, and I apply 2 coats to get a really nice durable finish. For my 5th and final DIY, I will take a small tray and put a cloche on top of it to have a cute display here. It would fit perfect to that cloche. So I decided to use it and put on a black satin paint, and I applied 2 coats back and front. What I did not realize at this stage was that it would not fit the tray because it was slightly too big. So I have the same kind of Mod Podging going on here, so it will match my set, my tray, etc. But I ended up not using it, but I will show you anyway what I did and what I intended to do here. On the rim I put on some gold acrylic paint just with the help of my finger like that, and once everything has dried I put on some satin finish varnish there as well. Now I'm making a little bird's nest to put in my cloche. I had some bark and some tiny twigs and moss, and I just hot glue it together so it will somewhat stay put. And on top I have some natural fiber that I put in place with some hot glue as well, and some reindeer moss. And then I have some cute little eggs that I will just hot glue into place, and some feathers like that. And that's it for this little bird's nest. So this is how my tray turned out. I think it looks a little bit Japanese, doesn't it? Look at that vintage feel on the top. I love how it turned out. Tell me what you think. And here are the coasters, so you can see each one of them looking beautiful. And my little tray here that I ended up not using, but still here it is. And now for the display here with my cute bunnies. I love how they turned out. Adorable. So tell me, what do you think of my creations here today? Did you have a favorite? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video and videos like this, consider subscribing. Hit that like button. It will help my channel to grow, and I can spend more time creating inspirational content for you. My aim is to upload 1 or 2 videos per week. So now it's time to head on over to my description box and hit that link to the playlist of this challenge for more spring inspiration. Just click and enjoy. Thank you so very much for watching. See you soon again in my next one. Until then, take care. Bye.